You know, people criticising the Coalition's campaign usually don't realise quite what their MPs are up against. A very hostile media pack. Now, many journalists following the leaders don't just seem to lean left, but seem to live in a bubble, apparently remote from the everyday problems of workers and the real-world evidence. Very tribal, more interested in sniffing out thought crimes. There's three examples that I'll give you just from today of the kind of thing that Coalition leaders in particular have to deal with. I think you'll be stunned. Now, the first example struck me as amazing. Today, of all days, David Littleproud, the Nationals leader, gave a speech at the National Press Club. Now, the MC, like many journalists, seems to hate Coalition MPs warning about crime. It seems to them it's just fear-mongering.
We know nationally statistics show that property crime has gone down in large parts of the country, and yet it has been a big focus. Is the Coalition capitalising on perceptions of fear when it comes to crime, or is this a reality that you're seeing when you're campaigning?
What a ridiculous question. Property crime in some parts of the country is going down, so, you know, are you just stoking fears? I mean, really? An ABC host on Melbourne radio this morning, Raph Epstein, the same scepticism from him. Oh, in fact, in Victoria, for example, crime in the past year has shot up by 16% to record levels, thanks largely to youth crime and home invasions, an average of nearly 20 a day now, mainly by armed gangs, and more carjackings too. Just yesterday, a 66-year-old woman was seriously injured in a hospital car park when she tried to stop a man stealing her car. Or take the Northern Territory, Darwin, the rampant crime there, especially by young Aborigines. Now, a second person, just minding a shop, has been allegedly stabbed to death trying to stop someone stealing. And this time the victim was shopkeeper Linford Folk, stabbed at his shop, allegedly, by an 18-year-old who for some bizarre reason was still out on bail on very serious charges, including rape of a child and aggravated violence. And he wasn't out bush where he was told to be.
The 18-year-old male who's currently in police custody was granted bail in the Northern Territory Supreme Court for serious matters on the 17th of April 2025. That person was bailed to a remote community across the top end. That person did not have an electronic monitoring bracelet, and that person was located and arrested in Darwin.
And now Linford Folk's widow has posted this heartfelt, heartbreaking tribute, really, on social media. My beautiful husband of 51 years was stolen from me, his children and his 7 grandchildren. This is so hurtful. The trauma it has caused to the beautiful staff who we love as a family, the trauma to our beautiful customers. Linford worked so sincerely to maintain the community vibe with smiles, trust and humanity. A beautiful man, a true gentleman, and my soulmate, gone forever. God bless him. R.I.P. my darling man. Now, journalists who reckon Australians shouldn't be worried about crime, they tend to be young and fit, lucky enough to live in nicer and safer suburbs. I think they should look around at the more vulnerable people who aren't that lucky at all. Now, the example I've given you really should be enough, but 2 more from today of the bubble. Peter Dutton, the opposition leader, today announced policies to tackle domestic violence. It's something he fought as a police officer.
Everyone's accepting of the fact that the scourge of violence, of domestic violence, financial coercion, every aspect in this debate is just completely and utterly unacceptable in our society, and we should be doing everything together to try and defeat it and work toward better outcomes for individuals, but for our country as well.
Now, you think the journalists have been dogging Dutton in this campaign, saying, what are your policies for women, Mr Dutton? Why have you got a problem with women? Mr Dutton would at least get credit for that. But no mercy from journalists obsessed with identity politics, gender politics.
You're here talking about the safety of women. Does that include trans women? Do you think trans women are women? And what protections will you afford them if you are?
Well, we had a discussion about gender as well this morning, which was an important discussion also, and we can provide support through programs.
But do you think trans women are women?
Well, a woman and gender is defined, and there was reference made the other day to a case in the United Kingdom, but I think a woman is defined as an adult female, and that's the definition.
On trial for potential thought crimes. I mean, it's like the journalist, though, showed you yesterday, heckling the opposition's defence spokesman, Andrew Hastie, a former captain in our SAS, for daring to suggest with his wartime experience that women should meet the same physical standards for combat positions.
From that answer, that you still think women aren't strong enough. Is that right, that women aren't strong enough to deal with that sort of combat you described?
And a last example from today. The usual inane demand that Nationals leader David Littleproud repeat the catechism of this Church of Global Warming, the Our Father of global warming. And once again, it was an ABC reporter demanding he say it.
I just wanted to get your view on the recent natural disasters in Queensland and whether you personally believe in the science of climate change.
Now, obviously, the question is ridiculous. What does it mean? Do you believe in the global warming science? I believe in facts. I believe in evidence for sure. But after that, there's climate scientists disagreeing on all sorts of things. Which one of them do you believe? You just believe in the facts. And this reporter herself seems not to believe in facts at all. She talked about the recent tropical low Alfred and floods in Queensland. Like, you know, this is somehow global warming. They proved nothing of the kind. As I've shown dozens of times, our Bureau of Meteorology has confirmed in 2020, and there's no change since, as far as I know, that we're actually getting fewer cyclones, fewer over the last 50 years. And the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, if there's a Bible of the global warming movement, that's it, says we'll likely get even fewer. As for rainfall, Queensland is actually getting less rain than 50 years ago, a little bit less, but a little bit more than 100 years ago. Where's the pattern in that? So I asked that reporter, do you believe in that science of climate change? What do you believe in? And that is not just another example of the impregnable know-nothingness of the ABC on global warming. Bet your bottom dollar that they'll go again. Next cyclone, oh, global warming. It is also another case of a journalist on the election trail who's in the bubble. And I ask you, are you then surprised that the election coverage of the coalition is so hostile?